3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello and welcome to the show. Dialogue Alley is a podcast about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. With you as always is me, Erik from Nocturne Erik, and Carly from All the Pretty Books. Hi, Carly.
Hello, how are ya?
I am doing just fine today.
Fabulous.
Excited to talk about more Harry Potter related things.
Me too.
We have some good stuff to talk about today. We have some new news, which obviously all the news is new. And we're going to talk about some of my favorite books today, which are the U.S. Deluxe edition slipcover editions, which are fantastic.
They are. I really like those books too.
So can't wait to talk about those. And then we have, like always, the translation of the show and some listener mail.
Yay!
So let's quick recap. It's been a while since we've talked about who we are quickly. So who are you?
I am a translation collector, and I also collect rare and signed Harry Potter items. And I've got like 1,200 or so books.
Goodness me, that is a lot of books.
I know.
It shocks me every time you say that. And I did
Me
just see
too.
some pictures. I know. And I saw some pictures of your move that's in progress with all the boxes of all the books.
It's a big deal.
So hopefully the unpacking is going well.
It is. It's just anytime you move that many books, it takes time, and it's a lot of weight.
Yep. Man, I remember moving mine. They're just heavy.
Very.
Deceptively heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm Erik. I'm also a Harry Potter translation collector, mostly of just book 1. I also collect other Harry Potter things that I find interesting, but only translations in terms of like set collecting. So, there we go. Should we jump right into the news?
I think so.
All right.
So what is new this time is actually super duper duper cool. It is the house editions of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So they're like Bloomsbury is finishing out the house edition set that they started, I guess, back in, when did they start? The 2017? Yeah, with the anniversary of Philosopher's Stone.
Yes, and you may be saying, hey, you guys just talked about the Half-Blood Prince house editions a few episodes ago. And yes, we did.
We did.
They are coming out awfully close together. It seems like towards the end here, they're just releasing them every couple months or so.
They did that. Like, I feel like 5 came out not too very long ago, and so did 4. Like, 4 feels like it wasn't too very long ago either.
Right. So, I mean, but now they're all done. So
yep.
These books
I wonder what's
are
next.
Available. Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about that before recording here. Like, what is next? Are they going to come out with, I don't know. I mean, they can't do house editions. Hagrid editions?
Shh. I've got to still finish. I still have to buy 6 and 7. So just hold on. Let me get there, and then they can do new things.
You're in luck, because right now, if you pre-order the 7th book, Deathly Hallows, from the UK, if you're a UK resident or you have a friend there, you can pre-order these books for only £14 sterling, and they come with a free magnet.
Wow.
I
always
know.
wanted a free magnet.
Me too. I mean, not so much to go through the hoops of trying to get someone from the UK to pre-order these books for me. That's just fine. I don't need the magnet. But if you happen to be in the UK, or maybe even Australia, I think qualifies for the magnet too.
I don't know.
So you can get,
I don't know how that
free
goes.
Magnet.
I wonder if Canada does.
I don't know. That's a good question. If you're Canadian, let us know.
Yeah, I'll ask. I have several Canadian friends, so I will ask them.
I should also mention, did you see, Carly, that they have box sets too for the Deathly Hallows books?
I'm not surprised, but I can't go buy the box set now. Like, it can't happen.
I know. And I said box set for Deathly Hallows. I mean, like, with the release of the Deathly Hallows, they are coming out with a box set house edition, books 1 through 7. And they have 4 different ones. They have hardcover box set and a softcover box set. And they come with this really spectacular house-themed box that folds out. And it's really pretty great looking.
I'm sure it's fabulous. I just cannot justify that in any way, shape, or form.
And I can't either because I've been getting all these other ones along the way.
I
If you're
know.
looking, if you haven't gotten any house sets or any house editions or any sets of the house edition books and you're looking to get them, I mean, I would recommend getting this box set. It looks really great, and it's not that much. The hardcover box set is like 112 pounds. Softcover is about 72.
That's really not bad.
Right. With converting, it's a little bit higher for US dollars, but I mean, shipping's going to be more too because it's pretty heavy.
Right.
But it's not bad, and I would expect that you could maybe get those on Book Depository.
Or even Amazon.
another-
Amazon will probably have them at some point.
Right, at some point. So get a box set. If you don't have any and you're like, hey, those house editions look cool, that's I would recommend box set. I don't know.
For the cost, I think, if you want all of them, I mean, it's not a bad idea. Oh, gosh. I couldn't imagine buying like a box set of the soft cover, all four, and the hardcover, all four. Like, although that's essentially what we've done at this point when we go and finish out all of them.
That's true. Well, again, I only do the hardcover.
I know, but I've done them all because I'm a crazy person.
I know, and you can't stop now. And
no, like
can't
it has
start
to.
now,
I have to finish.
Well, and finish you shall, because in July you'll have
all of them,
your Deathly Hallows books, and you'll be happy.
Or something. I think it's or something.
Or something.
Right.
All right. So that's that. Do you have any other news this week, Carly?
I can't think of any.
Didn't you see you were telling me about a book that sold for way too much, and you just wanted to give a PSA.
Oh, yeah. We were talking earlier before recording. I found on eBay, it's actually still up for sale. It is a hardcover Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, 102nd print, printed in 2020, listed for $350. And it's not rare. It's like a $5, $10 book. So don't spend your money there. Like, this goes back to, you have to research what you're going to buy, and you have to know what it is that you're buying to make sure it's worth the money that you're going to pay.
Right. And is this a UK version or a US?
Sorcerer's Stone, so it'd be US.
Sorcerer's Stone. Ugh. So, yeah, that's a great point that you made about you need to research things. After our episode on first prints or rare books, I think that was episode 2, wasn't it?
I think it was.
I had a few people reach out to me that they were looking at buying a first print, and they reached out and said, hey, I was thinking about buying it. I listened to your episode, and based on some of the points that you and Carly shared, I know that this book is not worth as much as they're saying, or I know it's not a first print because X, Y, and Z, which made me feel really good that people are paying more attention to those details and not just looking at the description in the eBay listing.
Exactly. And I mean, anybody can say it's rare. It doesn't mean it's rare. Anybody can list anything for any amount of money. It doesn't mean it's worth that amount of money. You have to really know what it is that you're buying. And Harry Potter is, unfortunately, one of those places where people think that because it's a Harry Potter thing, it's immediately worth money. And they don't understand that Harry Potter is so popular that there were so many of these things produced, and that it's only a very select few things that are worth any money.
Right. And unfortunately, the way that the secondhand market goes, if it's a book that's not currently printing, like let's say it's a 40th print, which really isn't worth anything.
No.
If all of a sudden 40th prints start selling every other week on eBay for $100.
People start thinking there's something special about the 40th print when in fact it's probably a buyer who doesn't know what it is that they're buying.
Right. And then unfortunately other people that maybe have one that do know what they have go to list it and they say, well, hey, 4 just sold same print for over $100.
Right. And then they list for too high. Right.
Which I don't blame them because, you know, they're doing their research on what things have sold for. So it just gets messy. So yeah. I think that's a good public service announcement that you have made here.
Yeah, just know what it is that you're buying. Always, always, always. Same for forgeries, same for, rare books. Just know what it is that you're buying.
Oh, and you posted, actually, we didn't plan on talking about this, but you posted a really bad forgery.
It was awful. And it sold for like almost $700. $700. Somebody paid $700 for honest crap.
It was really poor. Like, you gave a marker to like a 10-year-old
Yeah.
and
I
said, "Hey,
mean,
write this name in cursive." Like, it was bad.
bad cursive. It really was. Like, I don't, it just happened to be, I think it wasn't a lot of bidders. There were just a lot of bids. And those few bidders were just bound and determined it was legitimate and that they were going to get it. And they drove the price way up. And I mean, that's selling for almost about as much as a legitimate, not super rare J.K. Rowling signature would go for. And that just drives me crazy.
Right. And it also bothers me that there's always some sort of story on the listing that makes it look legitimate. Like, I watched her sign this book at this event in New York,
Right.
or my cousin got it for me at a signing in Los Angeles, and it makes it sound legitimate, but man, just look at it. Like, it's not good.
Yeah, even
it's not
her
close.
messy premiere signature, where she's honest to goodness walking the rope line and just kind of like pen in hand and very, very super messy. No, not even close.
Right. So keep your eyes open, everyone. Don't be taken in by things that are not as they seem.
Yes, very, very much so. And there are deals to be found, but that forgery was not it.
Nope. Try again, forger. Or actually, don't try again, forger.
No,
we don't want you to forge.
Just
anymore.
don't.
Well, and speaking of forgeries, that kind of ties into our main segment tonight in a different way.
Yeah, I would say similar.
So let's dive into that.
All right. So the main segment tonight, what we're going to be talking about is the deluxe editions of the U.S. Harry Potter books. And it's only available in books 5 through 7.
Right. And these books, honest to goodness, in terms of U.S. books, are 3 of my absolute favorites.
Really?
And I think they're spectacular. Mostly because I am a huge fan of the artwork. And I just, the Mary Grand Pré, I love getting more art from her.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Her art is pretty fabulous.
So when you open these books, and we'll talk about kind of how they're made up in a second, and you just are treated to this just bonus, like, additional artwork from her that was previously unseen, that really got me excited in terms of what these books are mostly about. And to me, that's kind of what they're mostly about. It's about the extra artwork that you get.
Right. I would agree with that.
Really,
and the boards are slightly different. Like, they're black, and they're like a nice checkerboardy black. And I believe they have a different, like, there's an art piece in the front of the book too.
There is. And so I think we should talk about maybe like what these look like. So obviously you can see a picture of them on our Instagram at Dialoguealleypodcast, and we'll post kind of all angles of these books. They're really great. But each of these books are hardcover. They're the same size as the regular books 5, 6, and 7, but they come in a hard slipcase, which is made really well. It's very sturdy, and the spine of the slipcase, not the part where the book goes in, has very shiny writing on all 3 of them. It just really pops. It's just cool. And the sides of the book, like which would be the cover and back cover of the slipcase, are kind of framed by this dark border on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And interestingly, Order of the Phoenix, the front and back are the same front and back as the regular edition, but Half-Blood Prince has a completely different cover on the front and the back. Mm-hmm. Deathly Hallows is the same as the regular American edition.
Right.
But the Deathly Hallows one is the one that really, the Half-Blood Prince one stands out to me the most, because
that one's my favorite because I love the green, and the art is very spectacular.
Yeah, it's great. And all 3 of these, if you pull the book out of the slipcase, there are no words on the book jacket. The book jacket is completely one piece of art, front to back, and even if you open up and fold it out, it is as such as well. And
Mary Grand Pré does these great, like, and she does the same actually for like Sorcerer's Stone, all of the jackets anyway are one giant art piece. It's just one that's folded over basically, like for the front, spine, and back. It's one big piece of art though. And I love that about her.
Yes. And however, these deluxe editions do not have any writing on the inside fold. And the copy I got of Order of the Phoenix actually came sealed, which was a surprise to me. I didn't know it was going to come that way. And it has a sticker on the outside, which I saved and stuck on the inside of the box. And it says inside is an exclusive book jacket artwork suitable for framing. And I thought I described it perfectly. Like, you could take this off and frame it. It is like meant
I'm sure
to be.
Many have, actually, because they're really nice pieces.
They are. They're super great. And the inside of all the books, 5, 6, and 7, there's just cover art right away on the inside. There's color picture at the beginning of each book. Full color illustration, which is awesome. And the end of the book, this is what really got me going the most. There is this section of extra art, and it's in the Deathly Hallows version, and it has all the chapter art listed, but then the quote from the part of Deathly Hallows where she got the inspiration to draw that picture from.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's called they call it the illustration showcase, and that's not in all of them, which I thought was kind of interesting, because as similar as these books are to each other, they're still very different.
Right.
So, I don't know. They're all spectacular. Carly, do you have the Half-Blood Prince one?
I don't. I used to, and then I sold that one, and I sold the Deathly Hallows one. Okay.
Well, they're not too difficult to find.
No, you can get on eBay right now and find them anywhere. I paid $10 each for mine, and they were all sealed and new. So,
yeah, I want to say I paid. 2 of mine were new. Half-Blood Prince and Order of the Phoenix came new, and I bought them last summer, so they're still around sealed. And I think I paid maybe $40 for each of them.
Oh wow!
Which I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but they're sealed. And
well, they retailed for $65, I think, each. So you still did better than retail.
I still did better than retail. And then I got Deathly Hallows used, which still came in good condition. But the art on Half-Blood Prince is what I wanted to bring up next. People are sometimes confused what they're looking at. So if you follow along on the Instagram here, there is a picture of what is actually the Gaunt Shack, and Ogden from the Ministry of Magic approaching the Gaunts to talk to Morphin about his misuse of magic towards Muggles. And if you look at the reverse side, it is Harry and Dumbledore watching him via the pensive, through the trees. So a scene that we didn't have much art from, and now we have this full glorious frameable spread to look at, which I think is spectacular.
Super, very awesome.
And then the Deathly Hallows full print is the scene where Ron, Hermione, and Harry have escaped from Gringotts on the dragon, and they're flying over the countryside. And
yeah, I love that one.
It's a very happy picture, which is interesting because the Deathly Hallows cover is pretty grim in terms of the giant Voldemort on the back.
Right.
And so this scene is just very joyous, which is cool. So, Carly, I know you wanted to talk about kind of not the forgery signature, but each of these books has a signature on the top of the slipcase, the hardcover slipcase.
Right. So one of the ways that we know, the deluxe books are really easy to tell, not only because of the slipcase, but all 3 each have a J.K. Rowling signature pre-printed at the top of the slipcase. And it's caused so much confusion in the marketplace. I can't even explain. I see them being sold as hand-signed on eBay all the time. And people are spending $350, $500 for these deluxe books thinking that they're hand-signed at the top of the slipcase. And I think legitimately the seller thinks that they are. I think it's an honest mistake in most cases. And they're just absolutely not. And in fact, it's the same signature that's pre-printed at the top of all three. So I mean, if you take all three books, and we'll put it on Instagram, line them up, you can tell that it's the same exact signature because they're exact replicas of each other. And that alone is a dead giveaway.
And for me, I'm not a signature expert. I leave those things to you and other collectors in the community that are, like Peter. And the big tell for me, like you said, is one, they're all exactly the same. Like to a T, they're exactly the same. It's definitely stamped. But two, it's written in or stamped in the same shiny color as the rest of the shiny color on that book. So for instance, the Order of the Phoenix has the shiny blue on the spine. The words are in the shiny blue, and the signature at the top is shiny blue. And the Half-Blood Prince, it's shiny gold everywhere on the sides of the book, and then her signature is in shiny gold. And Deathly Hallows, it's shiny red everywhere, and her signature is in shiny red. And
I think what trips people up is that even though it's a stamp, is that it's indented where the writing is. So people are like, oh, that's a pen. Because I've had people make that argument for me or to me when I've emailed them or messaged them on eBay. And it's like, no, it's a pre-printed signature. Here's others, just so you can see that I know what I'm talking about. And then they're like, no, look here, you can actually see where the ink is indented from the pressure. And I'm like, no, they're all that way. Right.
And if you want to really be damaging, you can, I'm not going to do this, but I noticed that you definitely could just take your fingernail and start scratching the shiny stuff and it will come off. So obviously if it was a pen, it would not scratch off the shiny stuff and then leave like a silver streak of nothing underneath. So clearly a printing, and I'm not even a signature expert.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at eBay pictures though, I mean, it's hard. And that's why if you're ever wondering, I know you've recommended you can ask the seller to send you more pictures.
Right. And there are legitimately signed copies of the deluxe books. They're just not very common. And when she signed them to the title page inside the book and not anywhere outside of.
Right. Not on top of the hardcover slipcase. Right.
Right.
If I was an author or an illustrator for that matter, and I was being asked to sign the book, if I was the illustrator, I would sign the picture. If I was the author, I would sign the title page. I don't know why I would sign the top cover of this hardcover slipcase.
I don't know. I've seen people.
Unless somebody begged me.
There's a box set of the 1 through 4 US books, and it has like a pre-printed signature of hers on the top of the box set, but it's very much like a part of the illustration. And I've seen people on eBay claim that it's hand signed. And I even saw somebody like rip the packaging open at the top and be like, yeah, she opened it up, signed it, and now here it is. Like, no. But they were still trying to sell it for like, I think $400.
Yikes.
I don't know if it's sold or not. I hope not. But the demand is so high that I wouldn't be shocked if it did at some point.
That makes sense. And I do want to correct myself here that the Illustrator Showcase is available in both Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows, but not Order of the Phoenix. However, Order of the Phoenix, in my opinion, has an amazing picture of Grimmauld Place on the book jacket. When you unfold it all, it's great. So I wouldn't say that one of these books is the best one to have. They all have something that the others don't.
Right.
I would say maybe my favorite is the Half-Blood Prince version, but that doesn't mean there isn't something awesome about Deathly Hallows or Order of the Phoenix.
Well, I just think I need to get them both, or I need to get the other two again so I can have the complete deluxe set. I don't know why they didn't do the other books. They just did books 5 through 7, which I think is strange. And then there's collector's editions for 1 and 2, and then there's nothing for US books 3, 4, and I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't either. And it would have been very easy to retroactively release books 1 through 4 with the same slip cover and such. It would not have been hard at all.
And maybe there was an issue getting more artwork illustrations. I don't know what the hold up. I don't know if there was an issue. I have no idea. I know I would have enjoyed seeing deluxe editions for all 7. That would be really pretty on a bookshelf, you know?
Yes. Oh, they definitely do. And on my shelf, I have them with the other, like the Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets U.S. leather-bound collector's edition books, which are totally different looking. I also have it with the 15th anniversary Sorcerer's Stone book with the Mirror of Erised cover.
Yeah.
And then I have it with the Scholastic School Market paperback edition. So just like all the, quote, special editions of U.S. books. And it's not a very cohesive looking area of my bookshelf. No. And it's very disappointing to me that there's nothing for Prisoner of Azkaban or Goblet of Fire.
No, and I don't know why. Those are fine books.
Not even anything. It's just nothing.
No, it's weird.
It is weird. So, I mean, Carly, are these books expensive?
No. I mean, they can be. They were originally, I think, retailing for $65, $75 each. But you can find them in thrift stores for half, if not less. I think, like I said earlier, I think I paid $10 for each of mine. You have to sometimes wait for a deal. I think I may have paid $25 for Half-Blood Prince back in the day. But, no.
No, they're not. And if it's selling for more than, I would say, $70, that's
absolutely not.
That's absolutely too much. If it's more than the retail value. And I think I got at least 1 or 2 of mine on eBay. And the other one I think I got on Amazon from a used seller.
Yeah.
And yeah, you look for when the price is right. I had someone reaching out to me who listens to the show asking kind of if this was a good price. And I said, I don't think so. I think it's too high. So
yeah,
if you see one that's too high, it might be too high. These aren't going anywhere at the moment. So
no, there's always an ample supply of them up on eBay right now.
Yeah. And if you have one up there for best offer, I mean, throw a number out there, maybe $30 sounds fair to me.
Yeah, and just kind of see what happens. Unless, of course, it's priced at $30 and then, offer less.
Right, that's true.
Don't be like, ooh, I'm going to offer $30 for that. No, you can already just pay $30.
Yeah, I think what we're saying is don't pay too much for these books. They're not really signed. However, they are absolutely worth having in your collection. They are gorgeous books. They're
really fun.
They're some of my favorites just to take out and look at because there's so much to look at.
Yes.
And if you like the Mary Grand Prey art, you will love it.
Yeah, they're good. They're good conversation starters. I have a lot of people that'll go into like my book room back when I had it all put together, and they'd be like, "Great, tell me about this one," and they'd pick, the deluxe book off the shelf.
Right, especially if you're American, these are books that maybe your American friends haven't seen before, but they'll be familiar enough with it to go, "Whoa, what is this? Tell me about it."
Yeah, this looks like mine, but it's different.
Yeah,
great. Instead of
someone
different.
Instead of someone picking up this one and saying, "What's this?" and I say it's from Serbia, and they say it looks the same as ours, and I say, "Yep, because it does look the same." And that's the end of that conversation.
Different title,
right?
Or it's from Serbia, but it's
from Serbia.
Like, oh, okay, and then they put it back down.
Yep. So that's it. That's the Harry Potter Deluxe editions. They came out July 03, July 05, July 07. Only for books 5 through 7. They're really great books. I highly recommend picking them up if you get the chance and if you have space for them on your shelf. It is a pretty inexpensive, in my opinion, collectible looking book that you will enjoy. I
agree 100%.
Nice. All right. So let's move on to the translation of the show.
Yay!
All right.
And the translation of the show is actually one of my favorite languages. It's Occitan, which you find like in the south of France, basically. It is, and Erik, I actually have the first paragraph on my Book That Lives project on my website. I have the first paragraph of the Occitan of book 1 there. It is such a cool language to hear. Really,
where did you get a person that speaks Occitan?
So the Gazette du Sorcier, they're like a French like Harry Potter journal. They're really, really amazing. They saw me tweet on Twitter. I was like, I'm looking for a reader for book 1 of, Harry Potter and Occitan. And they tweeted out and they got me a reader.
That's amazing.
I know. He was so, so very nice. He answered my linguistic questions because I lived in the south of France. So I was exposed to the language, but at the time I can't understand it. But it's so cool. And it was so cool to actually hear it, know what I was hearing, and be able to, I guess, recognize it.
Yeah. Well, and this is a language that when I was looking through the Wikipedia list of Harry Potter in translation that Sean Potterglot put together a while ago, this was one that I was very confused on and didn't really know what it was. So I had to do a little more research at the time. And so I actually found my little research page here. So from my research that I did before, and you can chime in if I am wrong, or if you want to validate my research, you can do that. So Occitan is spoken in the south of France, like you mentioned, parts of Monaco, the Occitan Valley in Italy, and there's also a part of Spain, the Val d'Aran, that speak Occitan as well. And those regions together collectively are sometimes referred to as Occitania.
Yeah. And I believe there's some relation to Catalan, but I don't know how much.
I wrote that down. It says
look
Catalan
at you go.
It said that Catalan, it was considered a dialect of Occitan until the end of the 19th century.
Yeah.
And then today, I think it's still it remains the closest relative of Occitan. Like Occitan and Catalan are like the closest language relative.
Yeah. And in France, they have like Languedoc and Languedoc. Basically, like that's how it separates. And Languedoc is Occitan, basically.
Oh,
like that area. And it's the yes words. Like from what I remember properly, it's been like 2 years since I've read this. So if I'm wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. But it was the yes words is what they were basing on, like the doi and the ak on.
Yeah, there's a lot of accents and words that have like an apostrophe in between letters, which I'm not used to seeing. I don't speak French, but I don't remember seeing that many apostrophes in the middle of words in France when I was there. So it definitely looks different. And also, Occitan it's only an official language in Catalonia in Spain. Everywhere else, it's just a recognized regional language. So it's not an actual like official language of an actual country. It's only actually official in a region of Spain.
Which is, but France itself, like they really push the French language. There's several other languages that are found in France, but they're not really pushed by the government much.
Sure. So if you want to see a kind of a map of where the speakers are, you can just look it up. Just look up Occitan. It'll show you a map on the internet somewhere, probably Wikipedia. And it's just right where the Iberian Peninsula connects to the rest of Europe.
Yeah, it's a really cool, it's a really neat language.
So should we talk about the book here itself?
Sure, why not?
All right, so this was printed in 2009, and the publisher was Pernost, and it was printed in Orthez. I don't know how to say the city, and that's a city in France. Mm-hmm. And the cover art, and this is what got me, like, I don't know. I almost, it looks fake. I hate to say it looks fake, but when people see this one, they're like, are you kidding me, man? Like, this is it? Really?
Yeah. Well, like, I was talking to another collector, and he's like, yeah, I don't mind the cover. Maybe the publisher let his kid draw it. And I told him, I said, no, this is an actual paid professional adult artist. You can look them up on the internet and see their other stuff. And he was like, oh, well, in that case, it's not a cover I like. I was like, yeah.
And I can never be too critical of unique art. This is the only cover of this book that uses this art.
Right.
But at the same time,
It doesn't do anything for me personally, if I'm being
No, it doesn't.
Just flat honest. It's not a cover I like.
It sure is interesting, though. I mean, I haven't looked at it this closely in a long time.
Have you seen the Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah, and that one's even stranger because it doesn't have a weird border around it.
It has a wide green border around it.
So that's the continuity there. It's just not. It's not.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for those of you that aren't looking at our Instagram page, or you would just like a gripping play-by-play from yours truly about what it looks like, let me indulge you. So picture this. There is a reddish pink foreground and a blue night sky with a giant yellow moon. And standing there right in front, taking up most of the cover, is our main man, Harry Potter himself. And he's holding a broom with the bristles side up, and Hedwig is sitting on his arm, and he is wearing a very curvy hat. Now, that probably sounds like any other Harry Potter book. However, I will tell you that this looks like it was drawn very quickly, and I don't think it was. I think it was actually done with a different medium. Like, it looks like there's like a newspaper collage.
Maybe.
Which, if that's the case, I would love to see the actual newspaper collage, not a print of this, because you can't see any of the texture in real life.
Right.
But it just looks very like if you asked me to draw a cover of the book.
And Erik's not an artist.
And I tried my best, but I'm just not. It's not a realistic looking drawing of a person. It is very modern art, I would say, and I don't know. Harry's got very rosy cheeks, and boy does he have juicy red lips. Yeah. So we'll post it. This, honestly, I can see some people really liking this cover. I honestly can. It's
sure.
I love that.
There's somebody for everything.
Yeah, art is definitely subjective, and like we mentioned with the new Italian covers, I think they're fine. I don't love them, just like this one. It's not my favorite. However, I definitely can see someone saying I really like that one. And in terms of uniqueness, it is a unique cover, so I have to give it points for that, and not just either borrowing the French covers or the Spanish covers or the Italian covers or the British covers or the US covers.
Yeah, I will give it something. I don't know what, but something.
Something I found interesting really quick about Occitan in general was I had a hard time finding out how many speakers there actually are of this language.
I remember I looked it up for research a while ago, and it was very vague. It was,
the consensus I got, and actually this is one that Wikipedia agreed with too, or maybe Wikipedia agreed with someone else, is more like it, 100,000 to 800,000. And that's not a ton either way. However, I think that's a pretty big range for that small number.
A huge one. Like, it's either doing okay on the language scale or not at all.
Right. And either way, that's more people that speak Occitan than Faroese. But
Faroese is still a protected, it's a whole different ball game. Just like Greenlandic, for that matter. Greenlandic is a smaller speaker base, but it's the main language in a country, so it'll be fine. Occitan, we don't know. I just don't want to see it disappear off the map.
I again, not an expert on Occitan, but I would wager that if you are a native speaker of this language, it's pretty critical that you also know another language.
You would have to know French more than likely. I mean, there's other languages or
Spanish or Spanish,
Catalan.
Right? So I don't know if there are people that only speak this language. So if you're looking to read it in this language, I would guess that you probably read Harry Potter in a different language, and now you're like, hey, I also speak Occitan. Whoa, can't believe it. They translated it, so I'm going to give it a go.
Right. And if you've read Harry Potter in this language, please drop us a line at Dialoguealleypodcast at gmail.com, because I would love to know how the translation is.
Yeah, because again, this is one where I think unless I come across a speaker, I don't know how else I would find someone that has read it. So reach out to us.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Let us know.
Yes.
And speaking of letting us know, I think we have time for a listener mail question.
Oh, fabulous. We love listener mail.
We do love listener mail. And we have a question today, and this question is very much in theme with the rest of our topics today. It says, is forgery more common in the collecting world? In the Harry Potter collecting world?
I mean, I guess for me, my first question is more common than what? Than everyday stuff? Yeah, probably. I know there's a lot of forgery and fakes, though, in collecting Harry Potter stuff. And we see it in, of course, signature forgeries, like we talked about earlier. But we also see it in like fake books. People have made 100% fake books and sold them for lots of money. In fact, in October of 2020, an entirely fake first print Philosopher's Stone sold on eBay for $15,000, and the whole book was
Oh,
fake.
goodness.
Yeah, I made a big YouTube video about it because I'm hoping that they got their money back. I don't think they saw it, but you never know.
Did they make the book from scratch, or did they take an existing book and then
No,
modify it?
the whole thing was made. Like the text block, the glue, they printed off the cover, like the whole thing.
That's insane. I don't know. I don't know if that. Well, I mean, clearly someone bought it, so I mean, they must have done a halfway decent job, but that's still really not a cool thing to do.
It's awful. And since I made the video, I had other people coming forward like, yeah, I also bought a fake book for X amount of dollars. And it smelled fake. It felt different. It looked weird. The pages were entirely white, like all of these big dead, giveaways. And
Yeah.
one of the people was like, I really wanted me to be wrong. But, he said it was in too good of condition for it to be real. And there were too many different signs.
If you're buying a book that came out in the late 90s in 2021 and it looks, smells, feels like a brand new book, I mean, that's either this was kept in like an insanely well-maintained storage area.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Books look older the older they get.
And there were other issues too. Like there were some other big dead giveaways that this was a fake book, and that I cover in the video. But it's just very maddening. So yeah, there's a lot of forgeries of all different sorts. I've seen fake copyright pages. I've seen people take like the back leaves of a book, take them out, print the copyright or print a new copyright page on them, bind them into the front.
I'm not a forgery expert in terms of signatures. However, I do believe, and we've talked about this before, that in terms of Harry Potter books, like the most common things that are forged are either signed things or extremely early prints of,
right,
specifically the Philosopher's Stone from Bloomsbury. I don't know if I've come across like faked Sorcerer's Stone books or really any faked translations that aren't just flat out unauthorized translations.
No, I've seen fake first print Sorcerer's Stone books running around.
Really?
Yeah. They'll take the copyright page out of a book club edition that has the 1 through 10 number line, which a lot of the book clubs do, and they'll bind it into like a later print Sorcerer's Stone.
Ugh, those scoundrels.
Yep, I've seen a few of those run across. But typically speaking, a lot of the forgeries, if they're fake books, are going to be Bloomsbury because that's where the big money is. But like I said, I've seen that with Sorcerer's Stone. I've seen it probably 10 or so fake Sorcerer's Stone run around.
But those typically don't sell. Like if you have a legitimate first Sorcerer's Stone, it's not going to sell nearly as high.
No, although they are going up. Like the value is going up.
And there's actually, when I checked recently, another listener of the show was asking about buying a first edition, first print Sorcerer's Stone. And the one I looked at, I think I sent you a picture of it. It was a book club edition, and it was pretty easy if you know what to look for.
Right.
And I'm, again, not an expert on first. I just collect translations. But they're just the basic, if it doesn't pass the basic test, things like the stuff that you're supposed to find on the spine, the correct quote on the back, the price on the inside cover.
Right, then just walk away.
Right, like there's just these really immediate tells that you can say, wow, it says first on the inside copyright page, but right. I noticed that the gold font lettering isn't raised and the boards are the wrong color. Like that's clearly not the one you're looking for. That's a book club edition. So there's just easy tells. So echoing your public service announcement, just do your research or ask someone that knows.
Right. Make sure you know what it is you're buying. I say that all the time.
So we don't want anyone to cry.
No.
No, we don't.
Exactly.
We want everyone to be happy with what they bought. Because really, if you spend a lot of money for something and it's legit, that's great.
Right. And I want everybody to enjoy their collection and collecting Harry Potter. Like, it's one of my most favorite things to be doing. So I want other people to enjoy it as much as I do, which means me helping suss out the junk.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about signatures, about book editions, you can definitely reach out to either of us. I would recommend reaching out to Carly more than myself. She knows way more about this than I do, as well as other members in the community. I don't want to say that people can contact other people without their permission, but there are other people that specialize in forgery prevention that are more than happy to help you or give you an opinion about what you're looking to buy. Because that's the great thing about this community, right? I mean, everyone does legitimately look out for each other, which is cool.
We do. Like, for the most part, I've met a few people that were kind of rude, but it's like 3 out of how many hundreds?
I can see people maybe being rude, or mostly because they maybe were upset that their thing they bought is fake. And that would make anyone upset. That would make me upset. Would probably make you upset. And then they don't want to hear the truth, I suppose.
Yeah, those aren't typically, I've just met a few rude people, but not even in that vein, just rude.
Oh, just rude? Okay, well then, never mind, just rude people.
I appreciate you trying to, stand up for them, though, but they were actually just rude.
Oh, I was just trying to put myself in the shoes of, picturing me asking someone about something and they're telling me it's fake and I just spent a lot of money on it. I would be upset. I really would be. And
yeah, but typically if I'm going to be doing that, I'll tell you how to get your money back.
That's also true. You are very helpful in that regard.
Yeah, I try.
Anyway, anything else on forgeries?
I mean, a lot, but too much to really go into in depth here.
So, Carly, I think that's about all the time we have with this topic. If people want to get in touch with you about forgeries or anything else, I think you're the person to talk to. How can people find you?
You can find me at alltheprettybooks1@gmail.com. You can find me on my website, alltheprettybooks.net. You can find me on Instagram at alltheprettybooks, YouTube at alltheprettybooks, and Twitter, allprettybooks.
Everywhere, All the Pretty Books can be found.
Pretty much.
Yes. And I'm Erik. I'm on Instagram at Nocturne Erik. Knock like on a door, Erik with a K. And that is where I am. Only on Instagram. And if you are enjoying Dialogue Alley, I said this last time, please feel free to give us a review on whatever service you're listening to.
Yeah.
We'd love to expand our viewership if you want to tell a friend about it. I mean, that's really the best form of advertising we can get, is just word of mouth by wonderful people like you.
Yes.
Telling other wonderful people about us.
Yes.
So you can also tell them that Dialogue Alley is available on all streaming services, Apple, Google, and other things, including iHeartRadio, which we still don't have anyone that's listened to us on iHeartRadio. And that took the longest to get on there. I still think it's hilarious.
Oh, well.
But if you want to get in touch with us, you can always send us an email, dialoguealleypodcast@gmail.com. You can visit our Instagram page at dialoguealleypodcast, which is where we will post pictures of the books we were talking about today. So if you go there while you're listening to this episode or at the end, we will have a lot of pictures because we talked about a lot of things.
We did.
And I believe I do have more in-depth pictures of all 3 of these deluxe edition books on my Instagram page at Nocturne Erik. So if you want to dig in there, you can look for some more pictures as well.
That works.
That works. All right. Anything else, Carly?
I can't think of anything, no.
Neither can I. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And now it's time to walk back through the archway into our daily lives, and we will talk with you again soon on the next episode of Dialogue Alley. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.